somebody says that you're pretty or you did something good, you say, oh no, no, oh no, no, and you don't thank them. And I've since learned you just need to thank people when they give you a compliment. And I'm still working on it. So I came to Boston, and he stayed in Georgia to sell our house, and I went to a lifestyle show. Well, I started my practice on my own on Newbury Street in downtown Boston. If any of you know Newbury Street in downtown Boston, it is sort of like the Fifth Avenue of Boston. But when I was in school, I had all these ideas about where I would go, and I actually wrote a list of all the things that I wanted and when I was going to start my practice and where it was going to be. I actually mocked up a little ad, Back Bay Chiropractic. And so when I went up there, I had a plan. And I started Back Bay Chiropractic. And it was in January. In February, I went to a lifestyle show where there was a group of chiropractors. We all met, and we were going to all take turns at this booth. And it was a lifestyle show for all kinds of healthcare people. And there was this man sitting in the booth. I assumed a chiropractor. He was in a three-piece suit, and I think I had my jeans and a t-shirt on or something. Not really. But I wasn't as dressed as he was, as is the case today too. And I went up to him and I said, hi, I'm Dr. Patty Giuliano, nice to meet you, and I'm next. He's like, oh, okay, and he's sitting there, and I set up my charts, and I had my spine, and I start screening people, and he's still sitting there. I went over to him, and I said, hey, buddy, beat it. Nicely. I am from Jersey. And so that was my first encounter with Peter. I was engaged. I wasn't looking for a relationship with anybody else. And so what happened was I went back to my office and came the last shift, and my mother was with me, and everybody left, and all the stuff was in the booth. And my mother said, Patricia, you're always so nice, and you're probably going to clean all this up, and I'm going to help you, and you better find whoever left all this shit here, and you better tell them they have to take you out to dinner. I'm like, hey, Mom, okay. Fast forward, 2 weeks later, I go to a chiropractic meeting, and I see Peter there again, and I said, you know what? My mother told me to tell you that you left all your shit in the booth, and if you want it back, you're going to have to take me out to dinner. And so he just smiled at me, and so I said, but I'm going to visit my honey in Atlanta, and so it'll have to be after that. So long story short, we went out to lunch. After lunch, we walked back to my office. I went to shake his hand, just like many of you go to shake. And he said, oh no, hugs are better. And I swear to all of you, when he hugged me, it was like the world stopped. Wow. It was a miracle.
Wow.
And, wow. And in my head, I said, oh my God, I'm going to marry this guy. And then the other side of my head said, oh my God, Jerry said he would shoot me if I ever left him. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't want to die, but I think I'm going to marry this guy. Anyway, fast forward story, because we got a lot more to talk about. We were engaged. Oh, our first date was 3 weeks later. And if you want to hear the other story, you'll ask me later. And then we got engaged about a month later, and we were married 5 months to the day that we went out to lunch. April 1st, we got married on September 18th. Chiropractic Founders Day, September 18th. And of course, Peter had to do a health talk at my wedding. And all my friends from New Jersey, here's the laugh. They're gonna have a laughing contest later. So it was meant to be. You know, Peter has just, well, you guys see Peter. He's amazing. He's been a blessing in my life, as I have been in his. We're a really good team together, and we created two amazing individuals, our kids. And that's who I want to talk about next. So, Peter Miracle was a surprising welcome event, not explained by natural or scientific laws and considered to be the work of a divine agency. That's what I feel about every person who walks through our door. I feel, and I even tell them, I say, it's a divine event that you just walk through our door, because I will learn something from you, and you will learn something from me, and let's see, how far down the road we're going to go together, because you don't know what's going on in people's lives. They may stay for one visit, they may stay for 100, 200, whatever many visits. You don't know. So every encounter you have with them, every adjustment you give them is a sacred event, and it could be the last one, and you want to be your best for each one of those. So we come to my greatest teacher. Seriously, I hope I don't cry. The Katie Miracle. She's an object of wonder. Still is. We call her POW, and sometimes we call her POFW, and you guys can figure that out. A feeling of surprise mingled with admiration caused by something beautiful, unexpected, unfamiliar, and inexplainable. She is inexplainable to me. She's 31 years old. We've had 31 years of parenting Katie. When Katie was born, Peter and I had tried for 3.5 years to get pregnant. So in that time, we got to build our practice. And as I look back now, if we did not have those 3.5 years to do that, we would not have the practice that we have today. So Katie entered into this world. We had a home birth, a water birth, and she arrived in an hour and a half, start to finish. Yeah. And she wasn't breathing, and the midwife's oxygen tank didn't work, so we just like, come on, Katie, come on, Katie, come on, Katie. And it's like that to this day. Come on, Katie, come on, Katie. So it's not far from how they are when they're born. It's not far from who they become, really, truly. It'll tell you a lot about your patients, if you ask them how they learn, or ask them to ask their parents. So I had expectations. I said to Peter all through the pregnancy, like I adjusted right up to the last week. And I was playing racquetball, 9 months pregnant. I wouldn't do that now if I could get pregnant. So I said, I'm going to go back into the practice. Within a couple weeks, I'll just put her on my back or, whatever. 6 months later, swear to you, 6 months later, it was a blur. It was one big blur. It's like, I don't even remember those days, but I remember Peter walking upstairs. I was sitting on my back deck. We had a home office at the time, and I was nursing her, and patients were coming up the deck to talk to me because we didn't have a lot of space, a lot of outdoor space. And so Peter comes upstairs, I'm nursing her, I'm crying, I'm still in my nightgown, and he's like, you need to come back in the office. I was like, who's gonna nurse her? She just nurses all day long, she doesn't sleep. And literally, Katie did not sleep, and I would never get like more than 2 hours sleep. Do you know what that's like to get sleep deprived? I am not a bitch, but I was a bitch. Peter was like, I've never seen you like this. Like, I usually sleep. So we would have to make times where I'd say, you need to take her, because she had night terrors. If I didn't get my boob in her mouth as quickly as she wanted it, from baby, tiny baby, she would hold her breath, turn blue, and then let out this shrieking cry. Can you imagine? I had expectations that I was going to have, like, my friends all said, Patty, it's going to be intense. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to have this like great baby. We're going to parent her. We're going to learn everything. We're going to do everything neurologically for her, developmentally for her. Whoa, man. I wasn't proud that I didn't like her. And I would cry, really. I'm not proud telling people that, but I think it's something people need to hear, that you don't always love your babies, even if you wanted them for 3 years, 5 years, 12 years, whatever it is. There comes a time where it's like you're at your lowest of lows, and thank God you're not like a drug addict or an alcoholic, because you probably would do harm, but you don't. And you have a support system. You have a husband or friends who can come over and say, take this baby before I put this baby through the wall. Now, I know some of you don't have babies. You're looking at me like, she is freaking nuts. I will never do that. I will always love my baby. Okay. Talk to me after you have kids. So, come to find out, we didn't know what was wrong with Katie. There was something, we knew she didn't have oxygen for about a minute or so. And so Katie was just curious to us. Friends of ours are like, how did you get this baby who's so angry? And I was like, I don't know. It must be my fault. I created this child. And not until Christopher was born did I realize they come in with their own spirits, their own crap, whatever you believe in, whether it's reincarnation or whether there's this spirit that comes into, I don't know, but Katie was intense, still is, but we've navigated through that. And the way we've navigated through that, I could tell you story after story. What I will say is that, thank God for Peter, because he kept saying, Patty, you need to just keep loving her. Just keep loving her. And when Christopher was born, 43 minutes, start to finish. Peter said if we had a third, we'd find it at the bottom of the bed.